to let him fight again, and that's a decision that we made. We didn't know how serious the situation was.
There was an adverse finding in the Nevada test. The British Boxing Board of Control statement, which was just to say, at the moment, we do not prohibit this bout.
All right, so stop it with the bullshit that we still got on.
Another thing, you know why I'm backing around? Because a lot of boxers going at him. When we fought, we made it cool, not saying like, but we...
Teofimo Lopez Sr. didn't merely react, he detonated, publicly tearing into Teofimo Lopez Jr. after the shocking withdrawal from the Shakur fight, turning a setback into a brutal spectacle. This wasn't disappointment whispered behind closed doors, it was humiliation delivered cold, sharp, and deliberate, sparked by failed drug tests and shattered trust. Senior framed it as something darker than a missed bout, calling it a stain on the sport itself and a betrayal of the family name that carried weight long before the spotlight. He warned with ruthless clarity that shortcuts rot fighters from the inside, that substances erase honor faster than any punch. In boxing, every choice flirts with danger, and Senior made it clear his son's actions screamed recklessness, exposed hollow discipline, and erased accountability, leaving excuses dead on arrival and respect bleeding out in real time.
You never know, in this sport anything could happen, you know, so, you know, every time you go in there, you putting your life at risk, you know, so, yeah, like he said, he must have said that anything could have happened.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. wasn't ranting, he was moving pieces, quietly playing chess while setting the board with ruthless intent, showing exactly how control and foresight look at the highest level. He pointed to disciplined operators like Shakur Stevenson, exposing how real fighters function when pressure closes in. As Jr. stumbled, failed drug tests, and vanished from the fight, Shakur's relentless consistency, preparation, and icy focus burned brighter in contrast. Senior's words cut deep, humiliating Lopez Jr. by proving boxing has no patience for shortcuts or excuses, only strategy, grind, and integrity, traits Shakur embodies without blinking.
Trying to play chess and trying to, put the right pawns on the right spots so he could get the best of what had happened.
Eddie Hearn rips the curtain back on what he brands a complete disaster, exposing the chaos behind Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s sudden pullout and twisting the knife with brutal precision. He openly humiliates Jr. for failing the Nevada test, revealing how that single collapse shoved the fight into dangerous limbo. Hearn stresses the bout isn't even sanctioned, lawyers scrambling in the shadows, contracts trembling, while Jr.'s unprofessionalism bleeds into the open. This withdrawal doesn't just stall a fight, it shreds credibility, leaving him looking weak, unreliable, and exposed under unforgiving lights.
The statement he's actually saying is that we're not sanctioning this fight. There's ongoing conversations with the lawyers.
And Johnny Nelson refuses to soften the blow, openly questioning Teofimo Lopez Jr. over the shocking pullout and making it clear this move carries nothing resembling class or professionalism. Nelson suggests there's more lurking beneath the surface, something unsaid, something uncomfortable, yet even with hidden factors it becomes nearly impossible to defend a decision this damaging. Lopez Jr. hasn't just stepped away, he's publicly embarrassed himself, turning his reputation into a spectacle and leaving behind unnecessary wreckage. While that chaos unfolds, Shakur Stevenson moves in the opposite direction, steadily building his legacy through discipline, precision, and professionalism, standing as a sharp, unforgiving contrast to the disorder Teofimo has created.
No, but that's really, really rare of him for him to think of and plan doing something.
Devin Haney doesn't sugarcoat a thing as he lays bare just how reckless Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s actions have been, pointing directly at the presence of performance-enhancing drugs as proof of a dangerous mindset. This wasn't a harmless mistake or a technical slip, Haney argues, it was a choice that puts careers, health, and lives at risk inside the ring. Lopez Jr. didn't just gamble with his own future, he endangered opponents who trust the sport's rules to protect them. This goes far beyond a failed test, standing instead as a glaring, public display of irresponsibility that can't be ignored or excused. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson continues to represent the professional standard, calm, disciplined, and meticulously prepared, quietly demonstrating what a true fighter looks like when pressure mounts. His consistency and respect for the craft only sharpen the contrast with Lopez Jr.'s chaotic and dangerous decisions. As the fallout spreads, the boxing world can only shake its head at an avoidable disaster that never needed to happen, watching one path rise through discipline while another collapses under reckless choices.
The guy is taking in performance enhancement drugs. It's just it's dangerous. It's dangerous for.
Jeff Mayweather tears into the spectacle Teofimo Lopez Jr. has turned boxing into, calling his sudden pullout and failed drug test a stain on a fight that demanded discipline, nerves, and respect. What first felt like gamesmanship or bluff now snaps into ugly clarity. This wasn't strategy, it was collapse. Lopez Jr. hasn't outplayed anyone, he's exposed himself. In the same frame, Shakur Stevenson stands composed, prepared, unflinching, a quiet threat whose readiness sharpens the contrast between a champion forged in control and a contender unraveling under pressure.
This thing is a bad look for boxing. I mean, no matter who did it, but to be in a fight of this magnitude, and first, I thought he fooled everyone by just playing crazy.
George Kambosos doesn't flinch as he drags the ugly truth into the light, exposing Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s failed drug test with words sharp enough to cut through excuses. There's no confusion, no accident, no gray area left to hide in. If Lopez Jr. crossed that line, it wasn't a slip, it was a choice, and that choice echoes as a betrayal of boxing itself. Kambosos' blunt delivery makes the disgrace impossible to dodge, forcing the moment to land hard. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson stands untouched by scandal, disciplined, clean, and focused, a living contrast that makes the gap impossible to ignore. The difference is brutal, and Lopez Jr.'s credibility now hangs by a thread, unraveling fast.
Goes through and it goes to VADA. It's going to VADA. It ain't going to get mixed up. So he's done this, and if he's cheated, he's a piece of shit.
Gervonta Davis zeroes in on the eerie timing surrounding Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s failed test, and the boxing world instantly feels the chill. The results surfaced with alarming speed, mere hours after the fight, triggering whispers about what may have unfolded in the shadows when no one was supposed to be watching. Davis's doubts magnify the disorder Lopez Jr. has unleashed, turning embarrassment into spectacle and carving deeper cracks into his career. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson's image only sharpens, clean, disciplined, unshaken, his professionalism casting a harsh light that makes Lopez Jr.'s unraveling impossible to ignore.
You see how as soon as why didn't it take 72 hours for the test to come back, right?
It came back after the fight, yeah.
Right. So why ain't come?
Eddie Hearn lays it bare, no room for doubt. When a fighter hits positive for performance-enhancing drugs, boxing's rules strike hard and fast, leaving no mercy for excuses. Everyone deserves their say, but in Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s case, the weight of evidence flips the script, guilty until proven innocent, and the spotlight burns brighter on his misstep. Hearn's words hammer home the gravity of the offense, showing how Lopez Jr. has sabotaged his own path with reckless abandon. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson stands untarnished, disciplined, and clean, his reputation glowing in stark contrast, turning Lopez Jr.'s failed test from a private mistake into a public spectacle of disgrace.
Performance-enhancing drugs in his system. I believe everybody should have the right to protest their innocence. Unfortunately, in this situation, it's guilty until proven innocent. I've been there, right? But one thing we 100% know in this situation.
Gareth A. Davies drives home the gravity of Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s failed drug test, leaving no room for excuses. The banned substance detected in his system has been blacklisted by the World Anti-Doping Agency since 2008, notorious for boosting lean muscle and granting a dangerous edge in the ring. Davies' professional assessment strips away any pretense, exposing the full scope of Lopez Jr.'s violation and casting a long shadow over his credibility. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson standing as a disciplined, clean athlete only sharpens, the contrast between his integrity and Lopez Jr.'s reckless choices glaringly obvious, making the scandal not just a personal failure but a public indictment of everything Lopez Jr. represents.
It's in there. Ostarine has been banned on the World Anti-Doping Agency list, Andy, since 2008. It's a very serious drug. It creates lean muscle mass in the...
Jim Lampley firmly endorses the testing process, making it unmistakably clear that the findings from the VA are both reliable and scientifically airtight. With both the A and B samples returning positive for Teofimo Lopez Jr., any doubt evaporates, he failed, and the evidence leaves no escape. Lampley's commentary reinforces the integrity of boxing's anti-doping system while casting Lopez Jr.'s actions in harsh relief, a self-inflicted humiliation that rattles his credibility. Even as the sport maintains its commitment to fairness, Lopez Jr.'s reckless choices throw his career into uncertainty, and in stark contrast, Shakur Stevenson's disciplined, professional demeanor shines brighter than ever, emphasizing just how wide the gap has grown between a true champion and one undone by his own missteps.
Response is VADA doesn't lie. VADA's for real. VADA's a legitimate scientific research organization. They have done a great job of helping boxing to clean up performance-enhancing drugs.
Steven Espinosa opens by exposing the maelstrom Teofimo Lopez Jr. has unleashed with his shocking pullout and failed drug tests, noting how social media has erupted into a frenzy of outrage, disbelief, and relentless speculation. The online storm churns with memes, hot takes, and endless debate, sometimes sparking curiosity for pay-per-view, but more often magnifying the scandal. Lopez Jr. has not just stumbled, he's self-sabotaged, turning his name into a lightning rod for criticism and humiliation. Meanwhile, the chaos only magnifies Shakur Stevenson's unwavering professionalism, discipline, and consistency, standing in stark, unyielding contrast. As fans dissect every move and share their verdicts, one fighter spirals into controversy while the other quietly cements a legacy built on respect and integrity. In modern boxing, actions outside the ring carry as much weight as triumphs within it, and Lopez Jr. now feels the full force of public backlash, his missteps a cautionary tale of how quickly a career can unravel under the glare of scrutiny.
Social media is going, absolutely crazy. And usually that does correlate to big pay-per-view, but not always, because there are a lot of times where people are just talking about craziness around.
Johnny Nelson spares no words as he dissects the baffling choices of Lopez Jr., questioning both logic and responsibility with sharp precision. He emphasizes that using performance-enhancing substances with a known 2-week detection window is not just careless, it's recklessly foolish, a gamble that betrays the very essence of the sport. In boxing, where every ounce of preparation, discipline, and integrity is painstakingly earned, Lopez Jr.'s actions read as negligence at best, outright recklessness at worst. Nelson's critique cuts deep, exposing the chasm between Lopez Jr.'s missteps and the professional standards he's abandoned, while simultaneously casting Shakur Stevenson's unwavering dedication, clean record, and principled approach into sharp relief. It's a brutal reminder that in boxing, choices outside the ring carry as much weight as victories inside it, and one poor decision can redefine, or destroy, a fighter's entire legacy.
I think now you won't know what stays for 2 weeks. I don't know, why would you take it knowing there's a possibility that it's going to be in your system? And why would you take it for our sport anyway?
Adam Smith delivers a cutting, unflinching reaction to Lopez Jr.'s failed cocaine test, labeling it a staggering shock that ripples through the boxing world. The surprise among insiders underscores just how recklessly Lopez Jr. has acted, turning a personal lapse into a public spectacle. Testing positive for a recreational drug so close to a major fight isn't merely a mistake, it's a humiliation broadcast for all to see, casting doubt on his credibility and marketability. Fans and professionals alike question his judgment and commitment, especially when stacked against disciplined, focused champions like Shakur Stevenson. Smith's commentary drives home the gravity of the situation, making it clear that Lopez Jr.'s missteps carry consequences far beyond the ring, corroding trust, tarnishing reputation, and shaking the confidence of anyone who once believed in him.
Eddie said to me yesterday it's 60-40, so we don't know. I don't know if that is the case and he's failed a sample for cocaine. That's really surprising, massively surprising.
Duke McKenzie voices the collective shock of the boxing world, zeroing in on the sheer absurdity of both A and B samples returning positive for a banned substance. His disbelief mirrors the gravity of Lopez Jr.'s situation, making it clear this isn't a slip-up but a flagrant violation of anti-doping rules. Within the professional community, it's seen as a glaring embarrassment, magnifying the stark contrast with Shakur Stevenson, whose career has been meticulously built on discipline, consistency, and integrity. McKenzie's perspective drives home the reality. Lopez Jr. hasn't just withdrawn from a fight, he has publicly humiliated himself, and the ripple effects of his recklessness are set to reverberate across the sport, leaving his reputation in tatters while Stevenson's stature only rises.
How can he give a A sample and then a B sample, and they both come back positive for a banned substance. It doesn't make any sense.
Spencer Oliver closes with a mix of disbelief and scathing condemnation, bluntly labeling the presence of cocaine in Lopez Jr.'s system as nothing short of absurd. He lays bare the stakes Lopez Jr. squandered, the fight, the opponent, the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and exposes the reckless selfishness of his choices. Oliver's critique cuts sharp and deep. Lopez Jr. owes the sport, the fans, and himself a full, unflinching explanation. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson stands untarnished, a living example of discipline, focus, and professionalism, his reputation only growing in contrast. There is no wiggle room, no mitigating circumstance. Lopez Jr. has failed spectacularly, betraying both himself and the sport he was meant to honor, leaving humiliation so complete it resonates far beyond the ring.
Blown away by what it is, you know, recreational drugs, cocaine, you just go, how has that got in your system? He's got some explaining to do for one, and you think with what you had on the line, and with what you was, you know, what was coming up for you, and the opponent you had in front of you, you just go like, cocaine in your system, it's just, it's...
The fallout from Teofimo Lopez Jr.'s shocking pullout and failed drug tests has rippled through boxing, leaving the sport reeling. Public humiliation, blistering criticism from legends, and a complete professional collapse have pushed Lopez Jr. to a critical crossroads in his career, where every choice now carries weight. In the meantime, Shakur Stevenson's reputation as a disciplined, clean, and dominant force continues to soar, casting Lopez Jr.'s chaos into even sharper relief. Fans debate endlessly over the future of the lightweight division, questioning whether Lopez Jr. can claw back credibility or if Stevenson's legacy will only grow untouchable. The divide is stark, the stakes higher than ever. Can redemption ever reach Lopez Jr., or is Stevenson's ascent unstoppable? Comment below and weigh in on a scandal that has shaken the sport to its very core.